All right, Section 5, Chapter 18, working with the declining balance method of depreciation. Earlier in the chapter, we worked with straight line depreciation. Here is your declining balance one. Okay, so our goal is to calculate depreciation using the double declining balance method. All right, so first, to figure out these numbers right here, okay, you have your beginning book value, $25,000. Okay, that's your original cost right there, $25,000. That's where you start down there. Your estimated useful life is 5. Okay, so what you want to do is take $25,000 divided by 5, and you come up with $5,000. However, since this is a double declining, we want to take that 5,000 times 2. That equals 10,000. This is where that 10,000 comes into play. Okay, so we start with $25,000 divided by how many useful years, our useful life. 25,000 divided by 5 equals 5,000. Now take that times 2, since it's a double declining. That's at $10,000. Okay, your declining balance rate, take your $10,000 divided by $25,000. You take 10,000 divided by 25,000 equals that 40%. Okay, so each year this truck is declining in depreciation 40%. In year 1, it's 40%. Okay, so $25,000 minus 10,000. So at the end of year 1, this truck is worth $15,000. It depreciated $10,000 in year 1. Bring that $15,000 down. That's the start of year 2. That's your year 2 book value. Same process. You want to decline it by 20 or by 40%. Okay, so 40% of 15,000. Right there's your 6,000. Okay. And then same thing. You take your 15,000 minus your 6,000. That equals your 9,000. Your declining balance rate will stay 40 until the very end, the last year, and I'll talk about that here shortly. Okay, but step 1, calculate the double declining balance rate. Okay, the rate, $25,000, which is your book value, your original cost. Divide that by your useful life. In this situation, $25,000 divided by 5 equals 5. Then take that times 2, and that's your annual depreciation, which is step 2, determine your annual depreciation. 3, determine the ending book value, which once you calculate that, right there's your ending book value. And step 4, transfer the ending book value to the beginning book value for the following year, 15,000. You end year 1 with 15,000, you start year 2 with 15,000. All you do is bring that down. Now, when you are looking at the last year of expense right here, it's useful life is 5 years. If you were to go and work the math, this is what you were to come up with that same example from the previous slide. Year 5, you started the book value at $3,240. However, the estimated salvage value is $2,500. If you were to take $3,240 times your 40%, so if you were to take your beginning book value times your declining balance rate, you would end up with $1,296. That is not your salvage value. Okay, so we want to stop at that salvage value. So at $3,240, if we take 40%, we will be below that salvage value, so that's going to be a line. Okay, we're not going to take it by 40%. However, you take 3,240 minus your salvage value, which is 2,500. 3,240 minus 2,500. This is where that 740 comes into play. Okay, so for that year, that truck depreciated $740 worth. Now take your beginning book value at the end of, or at the beginning of year 5, minus your depreciation. Here's where that $2,500 comes back into play. So you end year 5 with $2,500. That's also your salvage value. Okay, so step 1, transfer the ending book value from year 4 to year 5. Okay, so that's 3240. Bring that down to start year 5 with. Subtract the salvage value from the beginning book value to determine the depreciation expense. 3240 minus 2500, and then right there's your 740. And then step 3, verify the ending book value is equal to the salvage value. That $2,500 there that you end your value at should be the same as your salvage value. Okay, so that's what happens when you get to the last year. If it doesn't come out an equal 40%, which a lot of times it does not. Okay. Going back to the, I think section 1 or 2, I don't remember which one, but we worked with straight line method, and now section 5 is the double declining balance. Okay, we are comparing these two methods using the same exact asset. So this is a computer. The same numbers are, you bought it for $4,000, you have it for 5 years, and you're estimating that you get $500 at the end. Okay, that's your salvage value. Look how different these numbers are, though, so it depends on what method you use. Alright, give me a drink if you need to. Okay, so you start with $4,000 right here, and you still end with your $500 because that's your salvage value. Okay, but look how different these numbers are from your straight line method to your double declining method. Okay, so this is your straight line. To get your double declining, again, all you do is take your $4,000 divided by your 5. That's your 800. Now take it times 2 since that's your annual depreciation. That's where that 1,600 comes into play again. Okay, and you just keep working it down. Notice that both methods, you come up with the same exact depreciation, 3,500, 3,500. You start with 4,000, you end with 500, but the two different methods are completely different on determining your depreciation. Okay, so now using the work together, let me turn to that page. The depreciation tables for Clearwater. Where are we at? 1. Complete the depreciation table for each of the following plant assets purchased during the current year. Use the double declining balance depreciation method. Round the amounts to the nearest cent. Okay, so on this first one, let me zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so on this first one, it says on January 4th you bought a truck. Original cost is $22,000. Your estimated salvage value is $2,200. You have it for 4 years. Okay, so right here is that information. Original cost is $22,000. Your estimated salvage value is $2,200. Your useful life is 4. We are using our double declining balance depreciation method, and it's a truck. Okay, so year 1 we start with $22,000. Our annual depreciation. Okay, take our $22,000 divided by 4, since that's our useful life, and that equals $5,500. However, take that times 2, and that equals your $11,000. Okay, so that's where that $11,000 comes into play. Take your $11,000 divided by $22,000, and that comes up with 50%. Okay, so in year 1, this truck depreciates 50%. So take $22,000 minus $11,000, that's your $11,000 right there. Bring that $11,000 from the end of year 1 to start the beginning of year 2. Depreciate it by 50% again. So $11,000 divided by 2, essentially, because that's 50%, is $5,500. Take $11,000 minus $5,500. This is your ending book value for year 2, which is your $5,500. Bring $5,500 down to your beginning of year 3. Cut that in half again because that's 50%. So now that equals $2,750. $5,500 minus $2,750. Here's your ending book value for year 3. Okay, to start year 4 with, bring that $2,750. Okay, if you were to, this I'm not too picky about, this last box, because I've seen it both ways where in the chapter it had you put the dash, or if you just put 50, either one. But if you take 2750 divided by 2, you get 1375. If you go back and look, our estimated salvage value is $2,200. Okay, so if we were to do this last year at 50%, we fall below our estimated salvage value. Okay, so now instead of doing that by 50%, take 2750 minus your salvage value of 2,200. And equals your 550. That's where that 550 comes into play. 2750 minus 550 equals your 2,200. That 2,200 is the same exact match for your salvage value. Okay, so that is how you do the first example of the work together. For your second one, you bought a cash register, $1,200 worth. You are estimating it to sell for $100 at the end of year 5. So bring that $1,200 down. Right there's your 1,200. 1,200 divided by 5, because that's our useful life, that equals 240. Now take that times 2. That's your 480. So that's where that annual depreciation of 480 comes into play. Take 480 divided by 1,200, and that equals 0.4, which is 40%. 1,200 minus 480 equals 720. Bring that 720 down. Take 720 times 0.4, or 40%, and you come up with 288. 720 minus 288 equals 432. Again, same process. Once you get to the end of year 4, 155.52. If you were to take that times 40%, that falls below your salvage value. Let me go ahead and calculate it, see what it, 0.52 times 0.4, that comes up to be $62.21. That's below your salvage value, so you can stop at your salvage value. So your 155.52 minus your 100, and that's how much it's going to depreciate, is that 55.52 in year 5. So then your estimated salvage value is $100. Your salvage value is $100, and your ending book value is $100. So they match for that. Okay, same thing here. Start with $500 right there, and your estimated salvage value is 50, and it's for 8 years. So take $500 divided by 8, it equals $62.50. Take that times 2, and that's where that 125 comes into play. 500 minus 125 equals your 375. To find our percentage, our rate, take 125 divided by 500, and that equals 0.25, which is also 25%. Okay, so as you work your way down, you get 66.74. Take that 66.74 minus 50, and that's where that 16.74 comes into play. Now your ending book value for this one is 50, and that's also your salvage value. Okay, so if you do have any questions over Section 5, obviously feel free to reach out to me. Hopefully these videos are helpful for you guys to figure out what you're doing. But again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm obviously available for you. Enjoy the weekend. Bye.